All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You know that Monday nights are all about mind, body, and spirit. I'm Hope Savara, the host of the Driver Life BODCast. Here we discuss the physical side of your health, from your feet to the foods you eat, from cellular health to how your cell phone affects your health, from how you move to improving your sleep. We cover it all here on the Driver Life BODCast. I have a great guest for you all today. And Bailey is here with me, and she's from CallOnDoc. And maybe you're a driver and you've never heard of CallOnDoc before. Well, you are in for a real treat, because it's not just paying attention to the foods that you're eating at the truck stop or trying to get more movement in during the day, although we talk about that a lot. It's also about the other aspects of your health when somebody else needs to support you. And that's really where CallOnDoc comes in. And so, Bailey, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I am excited because we met through a mutual friend, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. We love you guys. Also, make sure you check out Shannon Courier's show on Wednesday nights, all about Southern love, Southern comfort, Southern food, and Southern fun. Shannon is the philanthropist over at the St. Christopher's Fund. But the St. Christopher's Fund put Bailey and I in touch with each other because we have a mutual interest: supporting drivers just like you. And Bailey, why don't you let the listeners know a little bit about you, but more specifically, what CallOnDoc is? Because until we met, I never heard of you either, but man, am I so glad that we connected.
No, I am too. Absolutely. It's always great to meet those who are interested in the same mindset, and driver healthcare should not be at the back front of anyone's mind. So really excited to share a little bit more about CallOnDoc. My name's Bailey, like Hope said, and I am thrilled to be here. So first of all, CallOnDoc is a 24/7 service. We're available all throughout the United States, and we actually treat over 70 different conditions online. So we're really great for drivers because they're on the road all the time and they get paid for the mile. So there's not a lot of time to stop, wait at a doctor's office for traditional healthcare. So we're really great for drivers, as wherever they're picking up their load, they can submit a consultation online, and wherever they're dropping off their load, they can pick up their prescription.
Wow. Okay. So you all literally find where the drivers are at and then come directly to them. Am I hearing that right?
Actually, they can access us easily on their phone. So everything's online. And
Wow.
we're actually your doctor, your way is what we call it, because you don't have to have an appointment. You don't have to get on a phone or video call. You can literally do what we call an asynchronous visit. So it's a form-filled visit. So like I said, time is essential, and they can just fill out their consultation on their phone or tablet or computer and then just move on.
So tell me a little bit about CallOnDoc's origin. Like, how did this all come about? Because there's other healthcare companies out there that are doing kind of similar things as you guys are. What really appealed to me was just your approach to drivers and the focus. And you just, I don't want to say have a better mousetrap, but I think you have a better mousetrap. But talk to me a little bit about, like, how did this company kind of come to be, and like the founder, and why are you guys in existence?
Sure, absolutely. I absolutely love our founders. So first of all, our founders are a husband-wife doctor duo, like power couple team, all around amazing people. And they actually started, our headquarters are here in DFW. So they actually opened up 2 clinics here in DFW. They're still here and running, but we just kind of found through patient experience that a lot of people don't have time to take off work or time to find childcare, or it's just so hard to make it into appointments. So they really wanted to elevate that experience and make healthcare more easily accessible and more affordable for everyone. So that's how they developed CallOnDoc. And we've actually been around since pre-COVID. So a lot of telehealth companies that are available now kind of erupted with the evolution of the COVID. However, we've been around for over 4 years now.
That's awesome. And I think what is really interesting or fascinating about this whole idea of, kind of telehealth or online health or immediate health, whatever you want to call it, healthcare, is this this concept of when you need it, you can get it. And we live in a society right now of convenience, but also of urgency. Like when something needs to happen, we kind of need to do it now. And, you know, when you're a driver, a truck driver, or even an Uber driver, an Amazon driver, whatever it is, when you're traveling and you're living on the road, it is really hard to make those doctor's appointments. One of the things I hear a lot from drivers all the time is, yeah, I really need to get home so I can get my physical. Yeah, I really need to get home so I can, you know, get my prescription. Yeah, I got to figure out where to stop so I can find a CVS or a Walgreens or whatever so I can get, you know, blank filled. And the tone of their voice is always frustration. It's always like, I need to do this. I have to do this, but my company, you know, I can't take time off, or it's not in my route, you know, or I need to get this load here by X day because otherwise I'm not going to make my drop off and pick up. And I think those are real concerns, especially when you're taking medications that you absolutely need right now. One, to drive, but two, to live right now. And drivers that are listening know that I am a big promoter of trying to get off as many medications as you can through health, through movement, through just living, you know, the best quality life that you can in the simplest means necessary. But on the path to get there, sometimes you need some support. You need some Western medicine support. And so you had mentioned 70 different, was it health conditions? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually cover a variety of conditions under categories. So we cover categories of urgent care, men's health, women's health, pediatric care, mental health, chronic health, STDs, dermatology. We also do prescription refills, and we also have lab testing. So we have partner labs, so you can do in-person labs, and we also have at-home tests, which we send directly to you.
Wow. So talk to me about the family care, because some of the stuff that's out there, and drivers, listen carefully, it's only specific to the driver. Like it's only covering the driver, maybe the spouse, but you said family and you also said pediatrics. So how does that work for a driver? Walk me through, like, it's one thing for a driver to call up and be like, hey, I need, you know, this medication for my allergies, or I need my inhaler, or whatever it is, you know, schedule a pickup, you know, or a drop off or whatever. But it's different when it also includes their family. So what does that look like? Explain that to me.
It's actually really easy. And I'm glad that we kind of care for more than just one person. We treat all ages and different health conditions. And one reason I'm such a huge advocate is because I use the service for my kids all the time. It's just so much easier. You know, when you have family matters and you kind of see the same thing over and over again, or if your kids get sick, you normally get sick too, and it's the same thing. It's just easy to get treated all online.
So let's say I have 3 kids, and I guess honestly, Bailey, I never thought about this for myself. I have 3 kids. Let's say my youngest son, Ivan, that's 7, you know, ends up getting sick. Walk me through, like, if I'm a driver, I'm out on the road and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how does this work for, you know, my spouse back home with my son?
Sure. They simply go onto the website and they will actually search through the conditions. So if your son has strep or a cough, cold, flu, that kind of thing, allergies, whatever they're experiencing. And if they don't know, we also have an option where I'm not sure. You select that condition, you'll go through and answer some health questions. For children, it will always be a phone or video visit. So the pediatrician will actually call you. When I do it, I was actually a funny story. The first time I ever tried it out, I called in a prescription for my son, and the pediatrician called me in like 5 minutes after I submitted my health questions. So you select your condition, you answer some health questions, you'll connect with a doctor, and then they'll prescribe your prescription to whatever pharmacy you choose.
Wow. So I'm on your website right now. Actually, I'm looking at your reviews page, and people love you guys. Excellent service. I thought this was an interesting comment. Helps with shyness. I can imagine people that feel uncomfortable, or maybe there's some shame around their health. Just that feeling of walking into a clinic. I know I'm someone that has dealt with anxiety, a big part of my life, social anxiety for a long time. and, group settings or going into places where you don't know people and they're looking at you, and that can be really overwhelming. And so I think that that's a really interesting review you guys got. Helps with shyness. I can imagine for people that, are a little bit more of an introvert, what a great service that you can help them with. Another one helps me from anxiety and fear every time. I just think so. This is an interesting theme you have when it comes to comments and reviews that you have on your website. I would have never have thought that that would be such a big component to healthcare. That would be keeping people from that would be kind of the social aspect of it, of the anxiety aspect of it, that would prevent people from seeking out healthcare or seeking out support. How does this work in relationship to like insurance? This is where I'd love for you to kind of walk us through CallOnDoc and, let's say, having quote unquote health insurance.
Absolutely. So like I said, our founders' main mission was to provide easily accessible and affordable healthcare for everyone. Everyone has the right to good health. And in the past, if you don't have good insurance, you can't afford to be healthy or have good healthcare coverage or have access to the doctors that you need. However, with CallOnDoc, our price point is much lower than anyone else. So we're actually $39.99 per visit, which is about the average of people's copays. And
Wow.
soon we will be launching an insurance program where you have the option to choose insurance, or you can just self-pay.
That's fantastic. All of a sudden, something that has become astronomically out of reach for people. I mean, I've had some family members that have gone through cancer and had, emergency surgeries, or have been in the ER, or even just gone to the doctor for a random thing, and you get the bill. And it's like, holy bejeebers. My real good friend from high school is a nurse practitioner, and she recently left healthcare, but she said people coming in, it was just mind blowing how many times they were trying to like get more tests and more this and more that for patients. And it's on the patient's dime. I mean, sure, they might have insurance, but it's really sometimes astronomical what people have to pay. But it seems like here you have really figured out this process of, okay, tell me what's going on. Let's try to find a solution, and then let's conveniently get you what you need. So if somebody, let's say, has a prescription and it's from like their doctor back home in South Dakota and they're in Florida, do they need to like go and get permission from their doctor or pre-approval? Because technically, isn't that like a new prescription then, or how does that work?
Well, if they're already prescribed that medication, they would just need a prescription refill. So this is especially important for drivers, especially those with chronic medications like blood pressure or diabetes or asthma medication that you need every day. If you're on the road and you either forget your prescription or you run out, or something happens where you don't have it, but it's a daily needed medication, you can simply request a prescription refill. If you've already had this prescribed to you, you can just show either the prescription bottle or some kind of proof that you've had this, and we can refill it for you.
Wow, that's really convenient. Why is this important to you? I'm always curious as a business owner and an entrepreneur, like I'm very mindful of, I want to do things that I feel like I'm called to do and that I feel like I have a purpose. And so Mother Trucker Yoga, many of I know Bailey, I'm the owner and operator of that, a founder of that. And it's a passion for me. It's really near and dear to my heart. I feel like this is my calling in life. And so it's kind of what gets me out of bed every morning. And so I'm always curious when people are working for a company and they're not the owner or they're not the founder or the creator, like what's called them to do that? And 9 times out of 10, it's more than a paycheck. So I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Like, why this company? Because it's one thing for someone to come on a radio show or a podcast or a blog or whatever and be like, I love this because it's theirs, right? But you're in a completely different position because this isn't your company. So why CallOnDoc? Like why this and why you?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I get that comment a lot. It is definitely way more than a paycheck. I really, truly love my job, and I love waking up and coming to work every day. So it's not a Monday, Friday to me kind of thing. It's a oh, it's whatever day it is, I'm happy to wake up and show up. I think I'm just passionate because I've always wanted to help people in some way. I'm not the kind of person that could be a doctor. I'm not good with blood and guts and all that kind of stuff. As much as I want to help people, this is the way that I can help in like a more low-key way. But I also just have really fallen in love with the company. I love our mission. And as a person who has struggled to get affordable healthcare, I've really had trouble having good coverage from insurance, having trouble with doctors, and like you said, expensive bills that show up. I was a person that would avoid the doctor at all costs because it was just so expensive, and it wasn't accessible or affordable for me. So now working for a company that really does try to provide and excel for the patients and, really do above and beyond, it's an honor and a privilege. And I really want to spread the word, and I'm passionate about it. So some other cool things that make us different is that we do offer a free follow-up visit with every visit. We offer 80% discount codes off prescriptions to help the patients be able to afford medications. We don't offer appointments. It's instant online care 24/7. It's really giving more power to the people to get care. That's why I love this job.
I think that's really where our society, or maybe our world, let's say, is going, is giving power back to the individual to make those choices that they need to make. I feel like, especially when it comes to insurance companies and our health, we're so tied to whether or not our insurance covers it. It always fascinates me. And I know this isn't something that you guys cover, but it always fascinates me when it comes to like eye care and dental, how that's not considered primary or essential. Like the last time I checked, I need my eyes and teeth, and I think I'm looking right now at your page on your site that says select a condition to start ages 2 and plus. And you guys, if you go to CallOnDoc.com, I really recommend going to the page that is for consultations and scroll down, because all of the conditions Bailey was talking about, the 70 conditions, are all categorized from you. Dental infection. I know so many people are struggling with dental health, pain relief, allergies, flu, pink eye, sinus infection, UTIs. So many drivers struggle with UTIs. A lot of it's because they're sitting all day and there's not enough circulation moving through their pelvis. It gets really warm. And so that's a huge issue. I've known several drivers that have reoccurring ones that was becoming quite serious. Women's health. I mean, urinary incontinence, menstrual suppression, birth control, men's health, UTIs. I mean, you name it. Psychiatric, which is, I'm a huge, huge proponent for mental health. Now, I'm not a medication pusher, but sometimes we need that. But, anxiety, depression, ADHD, panic disorders. I mean, so many things you guys cover. This is fantastic. Chronic medical conditions. I think this is where many of the drivers are going to be hanging out. Insomnia, huge issue. Can you talk to me a little bit about the insomnia? Like, because many drivers struggle with this, any type of sleep issues, what do you offer specifically when it comes to insomnia? Is it just medication, or do you do sleep studies? Like, walk me through this.
It is medication. It is a prescription treatment for insomnia. A lot of times insomnia also does relate with mental health conditions. So sometimes if you get treated for other mental health conditions, it can also relieve insomnia. Also, down the line, we will have talk therapy options as well. So right. There will be more than prescription options soon. It's something that we are working on adding on.
That's fantastic. And here's the one that I kind of went, but I get it. I mean, this is one also I think that's really overlooked. Dermatology. I've looked at other sites for telehealth kind of right around when we spoke. I was at Mid-America Truck Show back in March, and everyone's there, and I've gotten reach in contact with a couple of people similar to you guys, but again, their price points were higher. They didn't offer as much. Interesting. Dermatology, acne, excessive sweating, skin infection, psoriasis, hair loss, dandruff, eczema, facial wrinkles. Like, this is interesting to me because typically dermatology is like a category in and of itself outside of what we'd call healthcare. It's like anytime there's a skin, go to see your dermatologist, which is like a year wait, right, to go and see somebody. why this? Like, can you give me a little bit of insight why this is in here? Because I'm intrigued. I think it's a good thing.
Oh, I'm actually really excited. Our dermatology is about to launch to a whole new level. So we have a lot of cool things in the works. Dermatology is definitely a big one. Soon we will be offering custom products. So right now for dermatology, yes, it is impossible and difficult to get appointments. For example, my husband was trying to get a dermatology appointment and it took him 3 months to go see a dermatologist. I've struggled with dermatology things. A lot of women have like hormonal acne and other conditions that need treatment, but you can get treated for things like that online. So with our dermatology, it's just as easy as our other conditions. You select whatever condition you're experiencing. For dermatology, you will take a few pictures, answer your health questions, and connect with a dermatologist, and they'll prescribe treatment for you.
Wow. You just made aspect of health that much easier. I don't know. I'm kind of blown away. And I've seen some of your ads on Instagram and Facebook, specifically for dermatology. I think this is a game changer for drivers or people that travel or really anybody so maybe somebody listening is not a truck driver. Who can use CallOnDoc?
Anyone can use CallOnDoc.
So I don't have to be a truck driver.
No.
Wow. That's amazing. Is there anything that would keep somebody from being able to utilize your services?
No, I mean, everything's, like I said, the reason I love it so much is it's just easily accessible online. If, pretty much everybody has a phone nowadays. So just get on your phone, tablet, computer, or you can help someone. I think the only difficulties we run with is like technology help. So some of our older patients, they may have trouble, but we can help with that as well. So, and generally they have family members that can help them as well.
I see that across any platform. We have an app and an online service too at Mother Trucker Yoga. And, you can't appease everyone. When I talk with trucking companies and their wellness providers, they're like, oh, we do phone calls and emails and, group Zoom chats. And I'm like, why are you doing all of these things? And they're like, well, not everybody's technically savvy, but I think we're in a day and age now too, where I don't want to say it's sink or swim, but it's like you either have to adapt or it is going to be harder for you. I mean, I think it's no different than when, 100 plus years ago or whatever, when we went from horse and buggy to car, right? It was like, well, if you want to get there faster, you're going to have to buy a car and learn how to drive. Otherwise, it's going to take you 3 days. And I'm just such a big proponent in support and helping people, adapt to these things. I have aunties and uncles that are, in their 80s and are on Facebook. I mean, it's just like a whole new world for them and they love it. So if you're listening and you're like, ooh, I'm not good with technology, or I'm not good with apps, or I don't know, like, it's okay. Like, take your time, ask for help. How can somebody get help if they're struggling with the online process? Is there a phone number to call? Is that something that they can do, is call in and say, help me?
Absolutely. Yes. First and foremost, we constantly optimize our website. So we are always reviewing and making improvements to make the patient experience as easy as possible. So technology is a huge part of what we do. But for those who do need extra assistance, we have a phone number and an email. So you can call or text or email us 24/7. And we have many patient support team members that are awesome and very patient and helpful.
Awesome. This is Bailey. You guys are listening to the Driver Life BODCast. This is Bailey Bryan with CallOnDoc. Why choose CallOnDoc? Because they have same-day prescription treatments. They have prescriptions for home delivery that are safe and convenient. They treat people from ages 2 and above. Now, I know if you're 2, you're not driving a truck, but that can include your family members. Prescription pickup within an hour at any U.S. pharmacy, 100% secure, 80% discounts on prescriptions. And the best of all is they are available 7 days a week. CallOnDoc's been seen in a number of publications like Inc., WebMD, Cosmopolitan, CNBC, and Forbes. So, I mean, they've been around for a while, and looking at your website, I had to come find that again. I can't remember where it was. How many people you've served so far? I have 89,000 reviews. You guys, yeah. 89,000 reviews. I mean, if that's not testimony enough, if you're not using CallOnDoc, it's CallOnDoc.com. You need to go check them out. Talk over it with your spouse. Let your trucking company, safety manager or owner know about CallOnDoc. Tell them Hope at Mother Trucker Yoga sent you. But 89,000 5-star reviews. Talk about a slam dunk. They're on social media. Bailey, give us the rundown. How can people find CallOnDoc and how can they get started? And because I'm super excited about this.
Absolutely. You can easily access our website, CallOnDoc.com. We are all across social media. We are even on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are everywhere. But if you ever want to contact us, just feel free to reach out. There's also an opt-in at the bottom of our page. You can enter your email and you can subscribe for our weekly emails. It normally has promo codes, discounts, health information, education, and news.
I love it. And just so you all know, myself, Mother Trucker Yoga, and CallOnDoc, we've recently partnered together. You all know me. You know, I sift through people like a fine-tooth comb. I don't say yes to a lot of people or things. It's really, to me, at the end of the day, about integrity of a business and why they're in business. So you all know that I don't promote other people easily. I'm not swayed easily, but CallOnDoc is probably one of the best companies that I've seen out there providing healthcare to drivers just like you and your families at a reasonable and affordable rate. If you haven't checked out CallOnDoc yet, definitely go to their website, CallOnDoc.com. Hey, reach out to me over at Mother Trucker Yoga and ask me any questions that you have about them. I'll give you my honest opinion, and it's going to be, pretty much exactly what we talked about here today. But get your prescriptions filled, get consultations, lab testing, imaging, you name it. They can support you because your health matters. Without your health, what do you have? Without your health, you can't keep trucking. And without your health, you don't get the opportunity to enjoy this great thing we call life. Bailey, thank you so much for being on the show today. I so appreciate you. Thank you for all you do. I can't wait to see all of the amazing drivers that you guys get to serve here in the coming months and years. We'll be back in just a few minutes, right after a short break, and give you the follow-up to the Driver Life BODCast show today. You're listening to the Driver Life BODCast. I'm Hope Savara with TNC Radio. Are you looking to clear that head of yours of those crazy, overwhelming thoughts? Tune in every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern with Dr. Christopher Kortman for Building Strong Minds as he discusses how you can improve your mental fitness out on the road as a driver. That's Building Strong Minds with Dr. Christopher Kortman at 7 p.m. Eastern on tncradio.live. Welcome back to TNC Radio. I'm your host, Hope Savara, and you are listening to the Driver Life BODCast. That's right, the Driver Life BODCast, where we discuss the physical side of your health, from your feet to the foods you eat, from cellular health to how your cell phone affects your health, from how you move to improving your sleep. We cover it all here on the Driver Life BODCast. We just had on Bailey Bryan from CallOnDoc as our guest today, and what an amazing show. So for you drivers listening here, many of you have this constant conversation going on in your head and with your family and fellow drivers, and that revolves around healthcare. It is so difficult if you live on the road. I travel a lot for my job, although I'm not in an 18-wheeler. I am on the road a lot, and you sometimes just don't know what's going to happen. And to be able to have that convenience in your back pocket, it's more like an assurance, knowing that if you need it, it's there. But if you have prescriptions, if you have medical conditions, if you need continuous healthcare support, what a great opportunity. And that's CallOnDoc.com. Bailey Bryan was just on with us talking about how it is that you can support your health through telehealth, through telemedicine. They have been around for 4 years before COVID, pre-COVID, and they are serving drivers just like you. 89,000 plus reviews they have online. That's absolutely amazing. 5-star, actually 4.9 star reviews, which I think is fantastic. But where are you with your health on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being, gosh, I have neglected my health for a really long time, to a 10. I'm doing everything right. I'm not on any medications. I barely see the doctor. Doctor, what's a doctor? I'm walking every day. I, eat healthy. Like, I have more energy than I ever did. Like, I'm living my best life. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? I think it's really important that we evaluate our health on a regular basis. This is something that I try to do on a weekly and a monthly basis. Sundays are usually kind of my reevaluation check-in day, where I just look at myself in the mirror and say, where are you at, Hope? Where are you at? Whether it's with my sleep, am I looking tired? Am I not getting enough sleep? Do I need to shift my schedule a little bit? And I know for drivers listening, you might be like, oh, shift your schedule. Huh, that would be so nice. But my point is, you could go to bed a little earlier. You could, rest your eyes on your break for 10 minutes. There are options there. We just don't always take them. Is it my eating? Is it drinking water? All know I'm such a big advocate for hydration. And I talk about smart hydration a lot. This isn't you chugging water all day long and living in the toilet. This is you, drinking water right away when you get up in the morning. So then you can use the bathroom before you head out on the road. This is you, drinking water once you're parked for the night and making sure you hydrate then. Like, there are ways to do that. Sometimes we just don't choose to. And when you evaluate your health, a lot of times I reflect on the foods I'm eating and why I'm eating them. So many of us are emotional eaters. We're stressed, we're anxious. And so we look to something to numb those feelings so we don't have to deal with them. And you might be like, I don't do that. Really? So many of us are reaching for things to not have to deal with life. In yoga, we always talk about how the past is in the past, the future is in the future, and we want to stay in the present because that's the gift. And as somebody that has struggled with anxiety and depression for a big portion of my life and am a recovering addict, mental health is a huge component to physical health. And so my body was breaking down at one point in my life. And I was a walking corpse. I was slowly dying. I mean, it was, my stomach was just completely trashed. I wasn't sleeping well. I was at a point where, I was working out and not eating well and, doing things I shouldn't be doing. And my body was kind of like slowly eating itself. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, whoa, I need to change something. And so on that scale of 1 to 10, I was at like a -5, maybe even a -50, if I'm being honest. And it's not just about, improving your mental health. It's also about taking physical action because the two feed into each other. So this is where, talk therapy gets a bad rap because people are like, oh, it doesn't work talking to a therapist. Well, it only doesn't work talking to a therapist when you don't take action outside of the therapy room. It's no different than, going and I don't know, just going for one walk every single day and not making any other choices. Yes, that's a good start, but eventually you have to change something else, right? So if you're struggling with your health and you look in the mirror and you don't like what you're seeing, what is one change that you can make today? A lot of times the mental side is harder. And coming from the mind body, space that I've come from, yoga and mindfulness and meditation, this is why I think, yoga and meditation and what I learned from it was such a game changer for me. And when people ask how I got into recovery without medication, this is why. Because yoga taught me how to be comfortably uncomfortable in those moments that I didn't want to be a part of. And for a lot of us, especially for drivers, there's a lot of alone time, mindless eating, mindless snacking. You know, that solitude is only good to a point, right? And then we let our minds get the best of us and we start to make poor choices. And more importantly, we start to attach really bad reasons why to those poor choices. They become our identity. And so I had created this identity for myself as to why I should stay sick, why I should stay an addict, why I should stay unhealthy. It was a poor me mentality. And it kept me sick for years. I probably would still be in that space. So my hope for you to listening today is, what action can you take? If it's utilizing CallOnDoc to get yourself the prescriptions that you need to get yourself back on track, do that. If it's deciding to get out every day and move a little bit, do that. If it's, I need to drink more water, do that. If it's, I'm going to try to eat a salad every single day, even though I don't like it, but I know it's good for me, do that. But do something. Take action. Take action towards your health. Take action towards a better quality of life. Take action because your family needs you. If anything, take action for the people that love you. The last thing that I want for people is to lay victim to a higher quality of life. My dad is 60, is he 64? I think he's 64. He was a sewer pipe layer. Many of you know I've talked about him often, and he had a really hard life. He was in the Army and got out of the Army and, barely had a high school education and started laying pipe. He's a sewer pipe layer by trade. And he was the guy 80 feet down in the hole, the one in your sewage, laying pipe and doing things that majority of Americans or people in general probably never do. And I don't blame him, right? And he was like the strongest person I ever knew, growing up. He's 6'2", was always tan, big muscles because he's, doing a lot of labor, but he didn't take care of his body. And oftentimes he would sacrifice his health, his body, his physical well-being, his mental well-being for the job. And in the end, that ended up costing him his career, and more importantly, costing him a big portion of the quality of life that he deserves. And now he's, been forced retired. And so he's been retired now for several years, but he's got a lot of health issues. 9 disc issues in his back, his hands are numb, his shoulders shot, bad knees, you name it. And I think the biggest challenge for him is the mental. I was just talking with him yesterday and I was like, Pop, we call him Pop. It's like, Pop, you can have nice stuff. Pop, you can take care of yourself. Pop, you can live a high quality of life. Pop, like, you deserve to be happy and healthy. And for many of us, we almost punish ourselves thinking that we don't deserve good health. And I'm here to tell you, if you're doing that, stop. You deserve to live happy and healthy. And I have to tell him that every day. And he kind of gets teary-eyed. But I think we all need to hear that, because somewhere along the lines, many of us started to believe that our health is less than somebody else's, that we don't deserve to live a high quality life. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. That you can be healthy, you can be happy, and you can live the best quality life possible, but you have to make the decision to want that and take action today. We're going to take a short break and we will be right back after this short message. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Every Monday night, we focus on mind, body, spirit. And Truckers Life Radio from TFC Global with the host, Ron Frazier, is every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And his motto is helping drivers as they travel life's highway. More of the spiritual side, because drivers face a lot on the road. Truckers Life Radio digs in on the spiritual and moral questions that drivers face on a daily basis. And don't forget, every Monday night is Building Strong Minds with Dr. Christopher Cortman every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we got quite the lineup here for you every single Monday night, mind, body, spirit. I'm Hope Savara, the host of the Driver Life BODCast at 8 p.m. So that's 7 p.m. Building Strong Minds with Dr. Christopher Cortman, 8 p.m. the Driver Life BODCast with Hope Savara, and 9 p.m. Truckers Life Radio from TFC Global. Get your mind, body, spirit on truckerliferadio.live. Welcome back to the Driver Life BODCast. I'm Hope Savara on tncradio.live. Today, we talked to Bailey Bryan with CallOnDoc, being able to meet all of your health needs, primary health services from the comfort of your home, providing e-prescriptions for minor illnesses and pre-existing conditions. More than 70 health conditions they can prescribe for. And so an awesome service. Make sure you check them out at callondoc.com. Mother Trucker Yoga is a partner with them because, wow, they really offer a service I think so many drivers need when it comes to health. And so check them out over at CallOnDoc.com. We've been talking today about taking care of your health and a little bit more on the healthcare side. But the second part of the segment, we've been talking more about rating or monitoring your health, the importance of taking care of your health. And I wanted to read an excerpt for you from Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul. This is the book that I wrote. Again, Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul. And the reason why I want to read this section to you is in the beginning of the book, I talk about pride and polish, which is kind of this analogy of taking care of your rig and taking care of your body. But in that chapter, I talk about why it is that we defer maintenance. And I'm talking about the physical body here. My mom's van recently broke down on the side of the road. The electrical went haywire and the check engine light and every other light was flashing. The engine was making a funny noise and the smell of something burning was coming from under the hood. It was no longer functioning optimally. My dad had the van towed to our back shop, and after a day of letting the vehicle sit, my dad turned the key and to our surprise, the van was running. He drove it up and down the street a few times and it seemed as if nothing had ever happened. Now, I share this story because many of us treat our bodies the same way. With an ache or a pain, our bodies tell us something is not right. Then the symptom goes away and suddenly we've forgotten that something had happened. Because things appear to be okay, we go on with our lives. There was, without a doubt, something wrong with that van. The smell of something burning was not good. That was a warning sign from the van fairy that my mom needed to stop and look closer. But who wants to spend time, the energy, or the money to look into a problem if it appears to be okay now? That van was not functioning the way it was designed to run. Are you? Are you functioning safely? Are you functioning efficiently? Are you moving the way you are designed? Do you have a dashboard light flashing? A big rig has 18 wheels running fast and hard and carries a load maxed out at 80,000 pounds. If one of those gigantic tires blows, each wheel is designed to pick up the slack in a built-in temporary backup plan. Truckers prepare for any environment by adding safety devices like chains to gain better traction and grip and control in unpredictable environments, or by organizing their load in the trailer to ensure adequate weight distribution for a safe haul. Every driver I've ever met in the trucking community is running fast and hard. For some drivers, the maxed out load is not the one on 18 wheels. It's the one in the driver's seat. Truckers are frequently up against the elements on the open road, elements such as healthy food availability, limited space, limited time, and the constant pressure of uncertainties that come with driving truck, such as traffic and security of loads, Mother Nature, and what's riding over a scale at a weigh station might do to their timeline. All too often we wait. We wait to take care of our bodies. We wait until the last minute to mend something that we know has been breaking for years. Our knees, backs, guts, feet, even our minds. We think we can run on empty for a few more days until we get where we're going. We promise ourselves that we're going to take care of that dashboard light, but we immediately busy ourselves with other priorities. We are living then a life of temporary fixes, but can we afford another tire to blow? You may be thinking that the only way to improve fitness is to change careers or move or wait until your kids are older or any number of excuses. Know this, you cannot change your environment. Please, if you cannot change your environment, please know you can change how you live and move in your environment today. It is about the small, simple changes that will lead you down the road to a healthier, happier, more fit you. And that is our motto at Mother Trucker Yoga, is the small, simple changes that lead to the big results in your life so that you can feel good again. If you're still believing that you have to reinvent yourself in order to be healthy, if you're still believing that you need some magic pill in order to be healthy, if you're still believing that you have to be keto and fast for 18 hours a day and exercise, till the cows come home in order to be healthy, I'm here to tell you that there's a better way. There's a better way. And it can start with something as simple as making sure that you have the health support that you need, whether that's CallOnDoc, whether that's Mother Trucker Yoga and our online membership site, Lifestyle Jumpstart, whether that is getting out and walking, drinking more water, whatever it is, but you deserve to be healthy. Your physical body cannot run on empty forever. Empty calories, empty thoughts, empty emotion. You have to take care of yourself. So before we close out the show today, I'll leave you with this. What is one small thing that you can do today to take better care of your health? When I looked at myself in the mirror almost 12, 15 years ago, and I realized that I was an addict and I was not getting better and I needed help. That if I wanted to have a family, if I wanted to be married, if I wanted to contribute to this society and help people the way I felt called to, I had to first help myself. That was a scary and liberating moment in my life because it meant that I had to face my fears. It meant that I had to tell people what was going on. And it meant that I had to do something different. That road into recovery was not smooth. It was not snap my fingers and instantly I'm better. I primarily struggled with an eating disorder, drugs, anxiety, depression, self-harm. And you can cut the alcohol out of your life, but you can't cut the food out of your life. And so I had to relearn step by step, day by day, bite by bite, how to have a new relationship with food again. That food was not the enemy. Food was fuel. And every single time I sat down to have a meal or went grocery shopping, it was a in the moment check-in, being present with my feelings and my thoughts and my behaviors to make positive changes. I was afraid of so many different things that I had made up in my head. And I believe the same is true for many of you. We have made up these stories in our head as to why we do what we do or why we do what we don't do. We are finding ourselves avoiding certain things, unwilling to look at the mirror and say, something has to change. And so I want to invite you to make one small, simple change today. Just one. Whether it's signing up for CallOnDoc and getting yourself the support that you need, whether it is joining Mother Trucker Yoga, hey, buying our book, Trucking Yoga, Simple Fitness for the Long Haul, and deciding that you want to learn how to move more from the cab of the truck. Whether it's drinking more water, deciding to eat one less fast food meal a day, whatever it is, all of that counts. I'm here to tell you that all of those choices and decisions that you make for yourself add up to something and they matter. You matter. Your health matters. And so I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Driver Life BODCast on TNC Radio tonight. Please tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for another great episode of the Driver Life BODCast. Remember, it's the small, simple changes that lead to the big results in your life so that you can feel good again. Good night.